With me today is Laurence Lemoine. She's a French journalist who has been living abroad for over 20 years. She's now based in Valencia and she lives there with her two teenagers. Hi, Laurence.
Hello, Jane. How are you?
Very well, thank you. Thank you for joining me today.
You're welcome. It's a pleasure.
Laurence, you founded Valencia Expat Services in 2017. It's been a great success. What do you feel makes a good relocation consultant, and why are you good at your job?
Thank you for this. Listen, I think that the most important is to be empathetic and to understand that when you are a foreigner and you arrive in a city or in a new country, you have so many things to deal with. You have so many problems that you just want to help other people. Then I've been expat myself in a lot of countries. I arrived sometime with my kid. I had to find a school to understand how the administration works, the kind of paperwork I have to do. And sometimes if you don't have someone to help you, it's just crazy. We feel that people really need help, and we want to offer them a very professional services, and it's what we are doing now for the last 3 years and a half. We also opened an office in Barcelona and in Javea and Denia, because I mean a lot of clients are asking for that kind of services.
I think it's important for people when they move to another country to deal with somebody who has had the same experience as them.
Yes, of course, because I'm a foreigner as well. But now I'm, some of them, people, sometimes they consider that I'm like a Spanish, but I'm not, but kind of. And of course, I'm able to help them because I know perfectly how things work here. I know a lot of people, a lot of professional. Then it's easy for me to help people, and now with the experience, really, yes, it's easier. And of course, because I was expat myself here in other countries, I know perfectly how you feel when you have so many things to deal with.
I think that empathy is very important because I know from my own experience of relocating, it's not just the administrative tasks which can be difficult, but sometimes the emotional journey that you go on as well. And with you being a mother, a woman, a mother, and you've had that experience yourself, then people really feel that you have empathy with what they're going through. And I think that's very important.
True, and sometimes you even have to be like a psychologist, because you have to help and to I mean, some people sometimes they are afraid, they are not sure of what they are doing, and really you have to give them confidence, and it's something that they really appreciate, and that's why we always have a very good relationship with our clients. Many of them, they become friends, and after we love to gather all of them, because we organize every month dinners or events together, expat with Spanish people, because we want to create bridges between expat people and Spanish, because we want them to know each other, because this is very important for them to be integrated and to know and learn about the Spanish culture. But yes, we have a very special relationship, and it's really tailored. Each client, each family is different, and we have to provide for each of them a special service.
Because the actual relocation is just one part of your job, I guess, because people move to the country, but then there are ongoing paperwork that needs to be done, or maybe families choose one school, they're not happy with it, then they want to choose another school. So I guess that you kind of stay in their lives for a while, not just at the initial relocation.
It's true, because they always need advice, info, and help. during few years, and they normally they keep asking us services, or but yes, it's not only the first weeks. Sometimes it takes months, and we are with them for 4 months. It's true.
Yeah. As their needs are changing, then you can continue to help them. Yeah. So Valencia is Spain's third largest city. When we hear about people relocating to Spain, we often think of them moving to Madrid and to Barcelona. What is it exactly that people love about Valencia?
You know, a lot of people leave Madrid and Barcelona, and they decided to come here in Valencia instead of Barcelona or Madrid. But Valencia, you're right, is the third city of Spain. And now this city is very, very attractive for expat people, because not only because of the climate, not only because it's less expensive, it's also because the size of this city is really very very nice, you know, because everything is close, you know, a lot of people, you don't have traffic jam, you don't have any pollution problem, and everything is, I would say, easier. And Valencia is a nice city. Here you have the old town of Valencia, and you have a very, very modern other parts of Valencia, and it gives to this city something very special. But I mean, it's a mix of things. You have the sea, the beaches, you have a very, very good gastronomy. You know that the paella was born in Valencia.
I've been there a couple of times with my family, so with my children, and I also very much like the city. It's just big enough to make you feel like you are in a city, but it's small enough that you can kind of almost walk everywhere. The beaches are amazing. They're very, after coming from Barcelona, the beaches in Valencia are very big, spacious. You know, you have a lot of space there. So it's a great place for young children. How about the city with teenagers? Can you recommend it for families with teenagers?
Yes, of course. For teenagers, it's as well perfect, because they can study. You have a good offer of universities or private school or public schools, and there is no problem of security or insecurity. I mean, my daughter, she can be at night in the street alone, and nothing will happen, you know. And the same for us. I mean, for everybody. The low rate crime here is something that we really all appreciate. And you don't have this, for example, in Paris, London, or even Madrid and Barcelona. But yes, for teenagers, it's a good city. You know, it's very easy for them to meet each other, to go from a place to another one. And yes, it's a good place for.
The City of Sciences in particular is great with children, and also we cycled along the old riverbeds. That was a lot of fun as well. There were plenty of activities to do with children.
Yeah. This Jardín del Turia is one of my favorite parts. A lot of people during the weekend, they go, they run, they have fun, they are in family, they bicycle, everything, and it's just a great place, and something very particular, because you won't find that kind of garden in a city, because it was the former river. This is the bed of the former river, but they had to change the direction of the water because of the floods, and this garden is just incredible. You're right. Yes.
What would you say the main concerns are for families relocating? Is it education, or are there other issues?
In Valencia, if you say in Valencia, I mean, the problem in the education, in the public school, for example, we have the problem with the Valenciano now, as they had it in Barcelona, in Catalonia 20 years ago. They want to push with Valenciano in the public administration, public education, public university or school. And it's a problem when you are American or French, or you just want your kid learn Spanish, Castellano. You don't need him to learn Valenciano. We love Valenciano. I love this language. But I mean, for me, I don't understand why some politics really want to impose the Valenciano everywhere where they can. But for the rest, the education, if you have a large offer of private schools and universities, then this is, if you have money, this is not a problem.
So you have international schools from the UK with the American system as well. What other nationalities are there?
France, Germany, UK, American school. Yes, you have all this. Yes, yes. Many of them are full. It's incredible, but because really the last few years Valencia attracted a lot of expats, families, digital nomads, all kind of expats.
So would you recommend that people thinking of relocating should look into the education side of things before they make the move to see if there are places in the schools that they want their children to go to?
I think when you are a mother or a father, that's something you have to pay attention to. And but I mean, yes, it depends on if they want them a public school or a private school, a Spanish education or an international education, you know. But listen, most of the expats we know, normally they prefer to leave their kids in the British system or the American or French system, because those family, maybe in few years they will decide to move again somewhere else or to go back to their country. Then they want to keep the same system for the scholarity of the children.
Do you think there's quite a transient expat community in Valencia, or are there more people that stay there for a long time?
I think you have both, but you have family that came for the Americans Cup more than 10 years ago, and they are still here, you know, and friend and family from those families came as well, you know. And you have people, I know people, they decided to come here for only 2 years and they leave to another country, because some families or people, they don't mind to spend 2 years in Spain, 2 other years in Italy, 2 other years in Finland, wherever. But you have all kind, you know, being expat today is so easy. It's so easy and nice, I would say, because it's, I mean, the day you are fed up, the day you have a problem, the day you go back to your country, this is not a big deal. I mean, you know, now it's so easy. I tell you that because my first expatriation was, I think, 30 years ago, or more than 30 years ago. It was in Lebanon. But at that time, with no mobile phone, with no computer, with no flights like we have now, with no phone like we have. I mean, the communication and the way to deal with distances was so different. But now everything is so easy. I mean, to move to be expat is became something quite simple, you know.
I lived in Cairo for many years. That was my first experience of living abroad. And I went there about 30 years ago. And I remember very clearly that I would call my parents once a month by telephone.
Only once a month.
Yeah, and because it was expensive to make an international call, and I had to go to a kiosk to do it, and it wasn't straightforward. And I remember that very clearly when I'm sitting here now in Spain and I'm doing Zoom conversations with my family or FaceTime conversations. It's so different. It's changed. Technology has changed the experience of being abroad very much. Yes.
The problem, and it's a pity, it's that this mobility we have, all the community of expat people, all the administration in Europe in general, except few countries, but they are not updated. You know, they don't understand people like us. They because for them you are from one side and they can't understand you've been there and you paid your taxes somewhere else and you have another nationality and you have a job, you invoice to England but as well to New York, and and the administration, sometimes you have to be in there, I mean, to enter, to fit in their stuff, and people are different, and this is sometimes a problem. But the administration, they should have a special statute, for example, for people who have this mobility. But I mean, to change the administration is a bit complicated.
That's a huge job.
Yeah.
So in all your experience, Laurence, have there been any unusual requests from clients?
Oh yes, sometimes you know, for example, now I have to import the Lamborghini of one client, and but it was funny because when I told him that it could be a bit expensive, and I said I don't know, and he said, okay, it depends, because if it's 100,000 euros, maybe I will think about it. And say, yes, of course, no, I will try to done this for a better price. But I mean, also once I had spent part of the night in a hospital, in a psychiatric hospital. Oh, it was very special. But I mean, normally I have normal things to deal with.
Well, thank you so much for joining me today. I'm going to put your email, your website address along the bottom. So if people want to know more about Valencia Expat Services, they can look at the website, and there they will find your contact details, your phone, and your email address.
Yes, thank you very much. It was a pleasure.